Good night. Welcome to Cut Deep. It's Season 3, Episode 10. The concept of Cut Deep was developed with a focus on encouraging the wider public to think more in depth on issues that plague us, encouraging persons to have a voice and to use that voice to invoke change. Cut Deep is an interactive platform cutting through the noise and political rhetoric. It is raw, uncut, challenging you to think critically. What do the issues mean for us? What part do we play? It is a platform that will move the Virgin Islands toward unified, integrated success. I want to welcome back Blossoms Florist and McKelly's Beauty Salon as our support sponsors for Cut Deep. I welcome Basics and Mr. Nice Guy to our roster of sponsors for Season 3. I also want to highlight and thank those of you who will support this platform from behind the scenes. Thank you. Tonight is our last episode of this season, and I am happy to do a download on the state of the territory to wrap up the season. A lot has happened over the past few months. A lot will happen in the coming weeks. There is still a lot of doubt and confusion on many issues. Let's go to a quick break and we'll take a look at those issues on tonight's episode of Cut Deep when we return.
Our floral experts use their creative flair to design beautiful and exotic bouquets. We are the on-island wedding experts, and for boating enthusiasts, we can help you to add a touch of floral elegance, life, and color to your yacht, mega yacht, both locally and internationally. We've even worked with celebrities. At Blossoms, we continue to deliver smiles and watch our customers bloom.
Welcome back. It's Season 3, Episode 10 of Cut Deep. Thank you to our sponsors Blossoms Florist, McKelly's, Basics, and Mr. Nice Guy. We're doing a wrap-up download on this week's episode. It is the final episode of this season, so here we go. Most relevant first. We have 9 new cases of COVID-19 in the territory, just overnight. An initial press release came out with 1 case that was identified, and that the person had attended a funeral over the weekend. A further release came out saying that there were 9 total cases, basically within hours. Of course, in VIP style, and I hate having to identify their weaknesses constantly, but in true VIP style, everyone was tossed into confusion. We don't know if the 9 cases came from the 1 person or if there's community transfer or if they are all separate incidences or anything, as a matter of fact. So let us assume how someone could have ended up at a public event with an unknown COVID status. My thought is that they left quarantine without permission. If that is the case, then they should be fined appropriately. Although there is no justifiable reason why anyone would expose an entire population to such harm, the systems set up for welcoming guests back to our territory are clearly flawed. If it were indeed the case, how could a guest leave quarantine and be able to possibly expose others to COVID-19? For me, it's simple. The systems set up have not been working for a long time. It is my understanding that the tracking devices are not working. It is my understanding that responses are delayed in clearing guests on day 5 of their quarantine day. Again, there are no justifiable reasons to expose others, but we cannot continue to put people's back up against the wall with systems that don't work and a don't care, dismissive attitude. So how did we come about this exposure to COVID at a funeral? We expect a true update from the powers that be. Why should we be left open like this due to careless governance? It takes me right back to the leaky borders fiasco. Why is it so difficult for our plans to work here in the BVI? A small population of about 30,000, and we just can't get it right. Why? Why can I not get a response in a timely manner to travel to the BVI? Why do I have to sit in quarantine beyond my 5 days, spending monies that I don't have? Why do I have to keep following up to find out when I'd be collected to take my day 4 tests? Why? Is the COVID task force understaffed? Are they exhausted? Do we need to hire more persons? What about volunteers? Is the portal working? How can it be fixed or better managed? We're on the verge of opening our seaports, speaking of which, again, information is lacking. Will the seaports open in 15 days? What is the plan? When will announcements be made as to how it will all work? The last minute thing is just simply outplayed now. This administration had an entire year to get itself together. This behavior is just not acceptable anymore. It has cost us our entire tourism industry. It has cost us our small business sector and simply cost us our confidence in the tourism and business space. Despite not having our systems together, we are welcoming back cruise ships come June. It took us forever to determine that we could indeed open our seaports, but took us just a short time to welcome back cruise ships. Now I have no problem with any of our ports being opened, but the public needs the comfort of knowing how these things will work, whether their lives would be placed in danger or if things are indeed under control. Communication continues to be a problem, and for the Premier to say that he is keeping it under wraps so that plans aren't sabotaged is simply insanity. You're the Premier. We need some leadership around here. It has come to my attention that the government of the BVI allegedly has a plane on standby for the Honorable Bevis Sylvester to fly in and out as he sees fit or pleases. I understand that it is at some 20,000 per month. I am hoping that there is absolutely no truth to this, although I say that with much doubt. Besides, Honorable Bevis Sylvester's past history with governmental affairs, another big question mark to his appointments on major boards was the fact that he no longer lives in the BVI, and who then would bear the cost for him to fly back and forth. It is also alleged that the Honorable Sylvester does not quarantine on his in and out to the territory. I am simply going to ask the Premier of this territory to get this fiasco under control. Let's take a short break and come right back.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, you enjoy the rest of it then. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, Sonny.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you?
Yes.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Welcome back. It's season 3, episode 10 of Cut Deep. Thank you to our sponsors, Blossoms Florists, McKelly's, Basics, and Mr. Nice Guy. Tonight is the last episode in this season, and we're chatting about a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Let's talk about the COVID vaccine. I'm not here to convince anyone to take the vaccine or not. I have taken the vaccine because I feel it is the right thing to do to aid in the recovery of the BVI's economy and tourism sector in particular, to keep my children and those around me safe. What do the relevant bodies and professionals say about the COVID-19 vaccine? The CDC says that the COVID-19 vaccine will stop you from getting COVID. COVID-19 vaccination works by teaching your immune system how to recognize and fight the virus that causes COVID-19. And this protects you from getting sick with COVID-19. In terms of spreading the virus, well, if the vaccine stops you from getting the virus, then there is nothing to spread, or the chances of spreading are minimized. The whole herd immunity refers to large numbers of persons being vaccinated so that we stop the risk of getting COVID, the chance of spread, and thereby keeping each other safe. The fact is, a lot of us take the flu vaccine each year in an effort to fight the flu. Same result here. Even if the vaccine doesn't stop you from getting COVID, statistics show that it minimizes the severity of the illness and death. Why would you want to argue about that? Why would you want to curb the spread of this virus, especially to our most vulnerable, our aging parents and our relatives with compromised immune systems? I don't understand. I've listened to a lot of the conversations and they just have not added up to me, at least not to me. The conspiracy theories are simply not making any sense to me. Again, that is my opinion and my position. This will also boil down to the BVI opening up for business. Believe it or not, and it won't be from our side only, but from the visitors' side as well, in their decision to go where they feel safest and least at risk. That is what it will boil down to. And for those of you who think that the government can go on paying salaries and bailing out businesses, you have a rude awakening coming. The government still cannot get around to paying out some 40% of businesses who have applied for stimulus. There are also families starving because they have lost jobs, unable to feed their families. How does that not bother you? It is imperative on all of us that we do proper research and ask questions. A lot of us who are out here opposing the vaccine are on all sorts of other medications, whether it be headaches, cancer treatments, we're eating bad foods. Our devices do us much harm, but there's no cry about that. Again, I am not here to say what we should or shouldn't do. That's your right. But we should be responsible for our sisters and brothers and responsible with the dissemination of information, at least. I also strongly feel that the government has dropped the ball on educating the public on the vaccine and its effects on the territory's economy. Maybe there is still time and an effective way to make this happen. We're staying on the pandemic issue for just a tad bit longer. Our children being out of school. This matter has been brought up many times on this show, also by many parents, and there seems to be no responses coming forth in why our students remain out of school and now 1 year later. Why is it that the private schools are able to function at capacity and our public schools are not? Is it really a case of protection from COVID? I can't see the correlation. I really can't. Parents interact daily with others and go home to their families. We had about 5 sports days last week where children interacted, they intermingled, and spat in each other's faces. There is clearly not a problem with interaction and distancing and a fear of illness, especially when statistics are showing that children under 18 are least to or not being affected or infected and do not even require taking the vaccine at this time. So why are our children out of school? The public schools are facing a crisis. That crisis is the lack of due care for our children. No one can convince me otherwise. Our children are simply not a priority. Everything for this administration has been a show. They completed the L-shaped building and bragged about it, but it sits empty. No chairs for our children to sit in. They barely have toilet paper to wipe. I sit here and I say this, but it tears through me as a parent. It makes me sick to my stomach. Everything is a political game, a show, but only to the detriment of our children and the future of this territory. The bottom line is our children being out of school has absolutely nothing to do with COVID. They are just not a priority. Monies are being put to so many useless projects that are simply not needed at this time, and we cannot divert any money, none, to get our children back to a realistic learning environment. With the minister talking about taking 3-foot distancing for children to cabinet. The Lord knows that I take really deep breaths not to sin my soul on this bunch. Anyway, we deserve the government we elected. We have a management and communication problem with this administration. It has brought us to where we are, a very compromised position. There has been an increase in duty at the port. Now, let's look at this for simply what it is. This is an attack on the already struggling demographic. It's an attack on struggling families. An increase at the port means an increase on fast-moving consumer goods like food, toiletries, over-the-counter drugs, and other consumables. How does a government who cares lay this on its people at this time? Right now, bread is more than $6 a bag. It will go up. Again, the minimum wage is $6. Families are out of work. FSN, the Red Cross, and other caring citizens are overwhelmed. Is this really how your government is working for you? Kicking you while you're down? Not caring whether you can afford to eat, feed your children? Where is their heart? Oh, I forgot. The Honorable Flax Charles and the Honorable Smith says we should learn to live within our means. I almost forgot. Let's really look at this. This administration has waived stamp duty on the purchase of land and homes for a year, have waived property tax for a year, but has raised the cost of bread on struggling families. I really want those of you that are listening to me tonight to put this into proper context. The government has waived stamp duty on the purchase of land and homes for 1 year, waived property tax for 1 year, but has waged war on struggling families, setting consumer against business owner. Make no mistake about it. This is an attack on the struggling households and businesses of this territory. We'll take a short break and come right back.
Is time.
284 News.
Coming to you live and direct from the beautiful British Virgin Islands.
What's poppin', what's really good, what's happening, what's up?
Davis has won it for the Lakers!
Welcome back. It's season 3, episode 10 of Cut Deep. Thank you to our sponsors, Blossoms Florists, McKelly's, Basics, and Mr. Nice Guy. Tonight is the last episode in this season, and we're chatting about a little bit of this and a little bit of that. The escalation of crime in the BVI. Over the past few months, we've seen an escalation in crime in the territory, from high-day murders to major robberies. The blame game is at an all-time high. The Honorable Smith is calling out the Commissioner of Police, and the Commissioner is pushing back, while the Deputy Premier babbles. The Premier is saying that the Police Act is on the table, but there are major concerns from the public, and this is fair. I have concerns as well. However, I can't sit back and boil this down to a black and white issue. I can't, and I'm not interested in passing the buck either. Crime is out of control in the BVI. Our laws are archaic. The powers that be are not working together, and the I'm from here and the protection of wrong has got to go. We have suffered enough under this mindset. It is unfair to those that have worked tirelessly to build what we have. To see it torn down by greed, crime cannot run rampant and unchecked in a civilized society. We have everything to lose with this. Everything. So instead of the blame game, I implore the powers that be to get on the same page to stamp out what is going on presently in the BVI. Myron Walwyn is right. There was a time when we operated as a community and were able to build large homes, but we are decades past that lifestyle, and I hate to say it, but there is a lot of unexplained wealth in the BVI. I'm not sitting back and justifying anything. Anyone can see what's going on with their eyes wide shut. And this isn't just locals, but those coming in as well. We never question their wealth or how they are able to buy islands in the BVI. Come in empty-handed and a couple months later are able to buy yachts. Compliance is something that has to be across the board. I will continue to say that crime does not carry a color, and I stand by that. I am looking at crime in every facet of the BVI, period. And I have a lot of questions, whether it's in relation to the island just sold to an outsider, where did she get her money, her affiliation to our government, and the non-profit organization that she brought into this territory that is now under investigation. Where is the money that was raised in the name of the BVI after Hurricanes Irma and Maria? We cannot continue to use the cop-out that other places have corruption as well. Everywhere has corruption and crime, but those other places also have. What those other places also have are legislation to fight the same. We need those, and we need them now, effective and with follow-through. Also, while there is never a justifiable reason for theft, people's backs are against the wall in terms of feeding their families. The BVI is in a really bad place right now, and I am asking this administration to bring forward a workable plan that will take us out of this place. Please. The ongoing Commission of Inquiry. To date, I continue to receive a lot of calls on the COI, the status, and what it could mean for us. The latest update is that the team is back, has hired 2 solicitors, and is moving on to phase 2 of the investigation. They have also mentioned that they have sent over 100 requests for information. I will conduct a panel review on this issue in the new season of Cut Deep. A panel will also be done on our constitutional review and where we need to be heading, how and why. Just gonna change directions now. I want to extend congratulations to Sergeant O'Neill Baker on being called to the Bar of England and Wales. I want to extend condolences to the family of the late Peter Kellner, who died in a plane crash this week. I want to thank him for all that he has done for the Virgin Gorda community, especially after the hurricanes of 2017, and for the wider Virgin Islands. May he rest in peace. As we wrap up the month of March, a month where we celebrate Women's History Month around the world, I would like to highlight some female stalwarts of these beautiful Virgin Islands. Each week, we have highlighted 7. Since we missed a week, we will highlight 14 of them in closing. Tonight, our 14 are Mrs. Marva Titley Smith, first female director of Town and Country Planning. Mrs. Rosalie Adams, OBE, veteran public officer, held the roles of permanent secretary, deputy governor, and acting governor, and now appointed to the head of the Police Service Commission. Mrs. Inez Archibald, OBE, first female Speaker of the House of Assembly, serving from 2003 to 2007. She also served as deputy governor from 2008 to 2016. She has also served as chairman of the Public Service Commission. Miss Coralie George, stalwart businesswoman and pillar of support to her Virgin Gorda community. Miss Anne Leonard, first female tourism director and presently serves as deputy director of culture. Miss Inez Turnbull. She was a veteran educator, serving as teacher, head teacher, education officer, and later chief education officer. Honorable Dolores Christopher was elected to the House of Assembly in 2003, 2011, and 2015. She was the Deputy Speaker from 2011 until her passing in 2018. Honorable Christopher was a trailblazer in the preservation of BVI culture. She was a founding member of the Association for the Advancement of Small Businesses, founding member of the annual street fair Christmas on Main Street, founding member of the Buy BVI Trade Show, establishment of the Crass Alive Village. She served as head of the Trade, Investment and Promotions Department from 1993 to 1998. I want to recognize Ms. Lynette Harrigan and her hard work during COVID and the reopening of our borders. I want to recognize Ms. Ayana Hull for her work in the financial services industry. I want to recognize Mrs. Joy Penn, CEO of the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, for her innovative work in leading the bank forward. I want to recognize Ms. Judith Charles for her continuous work with FSN, which is a family support network, and the care she displays for our women and families. Mrs. Victorine Romney Varlak for her commitment and years of service to public office. Honorable Dawn Smith, Present Attorney General, for her years of service and commitment to public office. Lastly, but definitely not least, I want to recognize Miss Eugenia O'Neill. And before I speak about her, I must do a retraction from a previous show when I noted that Mrs. Rita Fred Georges was the first female to manage the women's desk. This was an error, and that one that needed correction within government office. I am happy this has been done now. I want to recognize Miss Eugenia O'Neill for her work with the Women's Desk, now Gender Affairs. She was the first woman to head this desk and held the position for 8 years. During that time, she created a law reform committee to review BVI legislation, which included adjustments to domestic violence, the recognition of paternity leave, stiffer penalties for rapists and pedophiles, and prohibition of the introduction of a rape victim's sexual history in court. Her work also included the sensitization of gender issues in government departments. She created the Women's Studies Unit at the library and conducted a study on the prevalence of domestic violence in the territory. This stalwart of a woman has done work across many sectors as it relates to the integration of the woman into the modern day BVI, including working with the police force and venturing into women in agriculture through another study. I recognize her work and commitment to the advancement of women in this territory. She is also a recognized and notable Caribbean author. Thank you for joining me on Season 3 of Cut Deep. I am happy to wrap yet another season and look forward to Season 4, and hope that you'll join me as we continue to educate, build awareness, and break down the issues we face here in the territory. Cut Deep will be back on April 13th. I wish you all a happy Easter and see you soon.